Well, hello, friends. Happy Wednesday, hump day. Welcome to Over It. We are down one today. Julie Roginsky is in Seattle, but I am joined by the beautiful co-founders of the Seneca Project, best political content in the universe. And if you're not already joined with the Seneca Project, please go follow them, donate. They make the best political content out there. That shit makes a difference. Tara Setmayer and Michelle Kinney. Tara Setmayer, also author of Uncompromised on Substack. And of course, the unbelievably talented Michelle Kinney, responsible for millions of pounds of my tears. And we've got Cat Butt to kick things off. Hi to everybody in the chat and watching from wherever you are, hoping that you are having a wonderful Wednesday. Hi, friends.
Hey, guys.
How's it going?
Well, I'm having a morning. I'll say that. But go ahead. You can go first, Michelle.
No, I was just going to say it's going. I mean, listen, guys, I've had some home tasks to handle the last few days, which, you know, is great. But at the same time, I'm grateful for them so that I've had a few hours a day to not look at my phone and not know what's going on. Not that I'm endorsing not being informed, but it is nice to have reprieve every now and then and to kind of zone out, because let me tell y'all, listen, I don't need to tell y'all, the news is bad. It's bad. It's bad all day, every day.
That sounds like a song. Like, the news is bad.
The news is bad. It's bad every day. Every day. All day.
All day. And what's going on with your morning?
Good country song.
Yeah.
Well, besides the fact that I'm going to apologize now that my audio equipment is 5 years old and I think it's finally deciding to end its career.
Oh, the mic.
If I go
thought you
out,
meant like laptop or something.
No, the audio portion of it. And so like the stuff that plugs in to make the mics work.
Yeah.
And so it is 5 years old. So I think it's finally reached its final swan song here.
They do have a shelf life, unfortunately.
Yeah. And so if I go out in the middle of talking, that's why. So I'm so you guys have to cover me. On top of the fact that Rafi is over here rubbing on it, which doesn't help because I'm like keeping everything, like don't move anything, but he's so cute. I can't tell him that. So, also Michelle knows this, that we've been having a little bit of an issue with Nissan. We have a Nissan Pathfinder that we have leased, and then we turned in our old one. It was time to get a new one, and the dealership screwed up the paperwork really, really badly. And like, when I say really badly, I mean like the entire finance management team of that dealership was fired from the time that we signed our lease a couple months ago to like 2 weeks ago. Oh. And so apparently there was a whole thing going on that they screwed up, and we were one of the customers that got our paperwork screwed up. So like our truck isn't leased. I mean, our registration is not with the state, and Nissan corporate doesn't have our paperwork. It's a whole mess that I've been trying to deal with now for 6 weeks, and it's still not resolved. So I had the Gloria Setmayer, okay, Rafi, with the butt. I had the Gloria Setmayer, the GM at the dealership this morning. Ooh. And anyone who's been following me for a long time and listens to Michelle and I knows that Gloria Setmayer is my grandmother, and you never wanted to be on the receiving end of a Gloria Setmayer letter because she was fierce with it. So of course they say it comes down a couple fold each generation. So it went to my mom, to me, and they got Gloria Setmayer this morning. So
well,
that's what was happening right before I came on, and I'm still waiting for a call back this afternoon to see what happens as a result of my very terse message this morning. So yeah, so that's how my morning's going.
Nobody wants to be pushed to the Gloria Setmayer stage.
No,
this is correct.
But every now and then you got to go there. I mean,
every now and then,
right? You just have to. Somebody, and heads got to roll. Like
it's true.
Not okay.
Well, you know what it is.
Just
do your job. Just do your job. And that's the thing too. It's like at least for me, when I'm on the receiving ends of like bad customer service or bad business, I always take a breath and I'm like, whomever I am speaking to, I know that you just work here. I'm so sorry. Yeah. I know this is not your fault, but please understand how frustrated I am right now because this is my money and this is my life and blah, 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 blah. If this happens 1, 2, 3 times that I have to speak, someone, then we have a problem.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm very reasonable, right?
Yes,
I'm
yeah.
like very reasonable. But
Yeah.
when you get me there, then it's like the
Mhm.
katanas come out.
You've
Because
earned it. You've
know,
earned
yeah.
this.
Yes,
Right.
because at this point now, I've been gracious. We've been trying to resolve this since June 12th. June 12th. It is July 30th. So yeah, so right now, and I've been a Nissan Infinity customer since 2007. Like I had 5 Infinities. I loved my Infinity cars. And then we got a Nissan
Since
Pathfinder.
George W. Bush was president,
Correct.
people. It's been a long time.
It's a long journey.
Yes. And I've never had
The
a
Republican
problem.
Party actually existed.
I know.
That's right.
Eric
It's
Spencer
right.
hadn't lost his seat yet. Anyways, keep
No,
going.
right. This is correct. The
good
world had never
God.
heard of Marjorie Three Toes. Like it was a
Ooh.
different time. It was a different era. Anyway,
God.
I never had any complaints with them. But when I got my Q50, I had problems with that. It was the first year of that model, and there was a lot of problems. But Infinity was always great to me. And so, this is the first time I've really experienced this level of a screw up where it's like, this is no joke. And then I found out that we weren't the only ones. This was a management level problem that they screwed up a bunch of people. They fired the entire management team and brought in a whole new finance team. And they're trying to basically unfuck this clusterfuck. And we're caught up in it. But I'm like, okay, that's not my problem now. I've given you 6 weeks.
Right.
What takes that long? Here's the paper. Here's where they screwed up. Send me new paperwork. Send me my tags and keep it moving. Like I'm not understanding. So anyway.
Yeah. But speaking of
sorry, go ahead.
clusterfuck. Speaking of clusterfuck, sorry,
Yeah,
dad.
good transition.
Yeah, sorry, Julie's dad, who may or may not be watching, but
Yeah,
sorry.
right.
Anyways,
First, all good vibes and energy out to anybody in any coastal region around the world. Looks like maybe some places like we were really worried about look like they came out of this unscathed, but I'm worried about those whales washing up on shore and the sea life and all of that stuff.
that really that broke my heart. That broke my heart.
What is this, like the 6th largest earthquake on record since they've been keeping records, which is
like
crazy.
8.68 something.
8.8.
I don't know.
Yeah.
8.8.
And it only goes up to what, like, I mean,
9 something.
9 something,
Richter
right?
scale. Yeah. Didn't they adjust the Richter scale now? It's like there's some kind of
8 and 9 is the worst, right?
Yeah.
That's what I saw.
There was a
this thing I was
9 a
watching.
couple years ago somewhere. I think.
Yeah, and remind me
Japanese
someday to tell you the story about the earthquake we had in Jersey and what picture fell off my wall. The only thing that fell off my wall, and not only fell off my wall but shattered. I'll tell you that story another time. But
you should tell it now. It's relevant.
Okay,
is this the one from last year, or is this a different one?
So like Jersey, we don't
get earthquakes. Even though we're on a fault line, people forget that.
Yeah, and where I live in this part of Jersey, we have really where it was the same fault line.
The
it was like
epicenter was right there, right?
Yeah, it was right by Mar-a-Lago. I mean, Bedminster by Trump National, really close, which is like God's maybe. Yeah, so we don't know earthquakes. Like I've always wondered what the feel like being an earthquake. Well, I know now because I was on the phone with the oil company, and I promised we were going to get to politics, and this has a political thread through it. But and I was on the phone with the oil company for whatever reason, and they're right up the road. And I was like, I live by a train, and I was like, what the hell? What is a train? And then I was like, this is not. And then I thought something in my basement with my brain, right? I thought my boiler or furnace was about to explode, because the whole house was shaking, and I was like, what the? And then of course I'm in the middle of it. I'm like, wait, are we on an earthquake? And the guy's like, I don't feel anything. I'm like, how do you not feel this? But he didn't. It was crazy, and so here's the craziest part. So I've got shit everywhere, shelves, everything, trinkets and tchotchkes and all this stuff. And one thing in my entire house, one thing, not only fell, this thing leapfrogged off of the shelf and didn't just fall to the ground. The glass shattered and rained glass all over my house in 1,000 trillion pieces. And what was it? It was my framed photograph of myself with Joe Biden.
Oh, and no.
This was in Harbinger.
No.
Yeah. Well, wait, because there's more, right? So I'm like, oh God, that's a terrible sign. This was like right before the debate. I think it was like 2 weeks before the debate. So fast forward.
Because you know what? Tara, this was, it was the day that we met with our FEC attorney for the first time. We were like meeting with her on Zoom.
God, that's right.
Yeah. And like, because I was home and I live on the top floor of a 100-year-old building.
Right.
So it literally sounded and felt like that big rock from Indiana Jones that goes down. Like it felt like it was coming down Columbus Avenue. And I was like, what? And all of a sudden we started doing this. And my husband and I are just looking at each other. I'm like,
terrifying.
I go, was that an earthquake?
I forgot
And he's like,
about
I
that.
think so. And so all this, and I had to run to get on the Zoom. And so Lindsay and I are looking at each other and I'm like, hi, it's so nice to meet you. And I was like, I'm sorry,
Wait,
did you
what?
just feel that?
Right,
She's like,
right.
yeah. And I'm like, oh my God, that was crazy.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Well, I was in DC. I worked on Capitol Hill in 2011 when I think it was 2011 when the DC when that earthquake hit in Virginia.
Yeah.
And we felt it in DC. And like I was home in my apartment in Alexandria. I lived in Alexandria at the time. And I was on the 4th floor, like, like one of those like condo apartment places.
Yeah.
And I was on the 4th floor. And I remember I was in the bathroom washing my face, and all of a sudden I felt like everything starting to sway. And I remember
the weirdest feeling.
Flipping out Tiki at the time, my other cat, my beloved Teekster. Tiki and I, Tiki ran. I thought the building was going to collapse on us. I have never, and it takes a lot to rattle me, but after it was over, I don't know, what was it, 8 seconds? It felt like 3 minutes. And I thought that I grabbed Tiki and I was like, are we okay? And I'm like,
right.
I started flipping out. And my husband at the time was working. And I remember, he wasn't my husband then. We were just dating. And I was like, I texted him. I'm like, what is going on? He's like, yeah, we had to evac.
Oh my God.
And I was like, oh my God. And so it was a whole thing. I was like this. I was shaking for hours. I grabbed the cat. We went into the car and drove because Tiki didn't mind driving in the car. So I used to take him everywhere with me.
Yeah.
And we drove around. And I remember we went to Rita's and got
Rita's water ice.
And got Italian ice and custard and stuff. And I remember Tiki was able to have give him a little bit because I was like, we're gonna chill out for a minute, in the car. But that was nuts. And that was only a 4.
I know, that's what I mean. Like, it's like we feel these little tiny things in the Northeast, but living in California or all these other places that have these insane fault lines that they live. I mean, it's just, and then having to do with tsunami warning. I mean, that's a whole nother layer of what, I don't have, I was in my room last night and I had the YouTube on. So I was just trying to find live feeds from Hawaii and just trying to see what they were saying. And it seems like they've had 165 tsunamis since they started recording them. But obviously, sometimes they're 2 feet, they're nothing, but you just never know. I mean, look what happened in Japan and Indonesia, and it's just you just don't know. And so you have to be as cautious as possible.
Yes.
And looking at what we're dealing with now with the cuts, with the Trump administration, trying to get rid of these warnings for people that are life-saving, not to mention, I mean, beyond the loss of life, okay, which is the first and foremost, most important, is hi Rafi he's
very interested in this story.
But also, I mean, if we're going to talk about money and dollar signs, the millions and millions and millions of dollars of infrastructure that's destroyed when these things happen too, it's just so we want to be prepared for these things, and we want to make sure that we're voting for people who have our best interests in their minds and hearts. But unfortunately, that is no longer the country that we live in.
Not in preparedness and not in recovery.
That's right.
I mean,
that's right.
Neither, right? Yeah, it's really, as we saw with the Texas floods and other climate crises at the moment. I don't know if you guys saw, again, rolling back emissions standards. I mean, it's just one.
Which again,
luckily there's a planet B out there that for us to all move.
Which again, do we? I mean, I'm sure everyone at home. Do we know what president founded and started the Environmental Protection Agency? Was Richard Nixon.
FEMA too, I believe.
Right. Conserving the environment should be a conservative value because of the word conserve. We want to conserve the things that we have. But they're no. I only want to conserve the things that maybe, control women's bodies or keep women in the kitchen or keep gay people in the closet at all. And the rest of it, as long as I can spend and consume and make money and make myself a billionaire while I, set things on fire like fossil fuels, and we're digging death out of the ground and setting it on fire for the last century. That's fine. But, here we are.
Did you see the FDA commissioner was asked this about this on, I think it was CNBC, and he was asked basically like, how are these rollbacks going to impact our health, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, well, I'm not really well versed in this. That's for the EPA. He was like, you're the head of our health, aren't you?
Yeah,
Do you think maybe you could look into it? It was what the host said. It was crazy. This guy's the head of the EPA. Is like, oh, I don't know.
Right. Like the
okay,
FDA isn't
great.
just like pharmaceuticals and infectious diseases, guys. Like it's a whole
thing. And then he went on to tell a story about how one of his friends died from the COVID vaccine to somehow to justify the fact that HHS and Robert Kennedy Jr. is gutting all the vaccine boards and all the professionals who know what they're doing and have been doing this for years.
People are such quacks.
Yeah. Seriously. So I had a mammogram, just a regular routine standard mammogram the other day. We can get into MAGA's delightful response to that. But Michelle inspired me when she had hers to post something about encouraging other people to go and get mammograms, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We'll get into that in a second. But when I was there, the ladies were nice. I mean, when your boobs are hanging out, you make small talk. What else are you going to do, right? When somebody's making your boobie a pancake and it hurts so well.
They're just 2 of the 1,000 they're going to see that day. Exactly. So you might as well make some chit chat,
Like, yes. Oh, she asked me if I'd been to the beach recently, which is also a strange question. But whatever. And I said
lovely weather we're having. It's chilly in here.
Don't breathe. And you're like,
right.
Breathe.
It sucks.
But I said something about, here's hoping my insurance covers this because insurance may not cover this because they're cutting, the part of the HHS that encourages people to advises people to go get these preventatively, et cetera.
Yeah.
Insurance may not be covering them. And the one lady goes, oh, that RFK Jr. is such an idiot.
Oh, God.
Yes.
Thank God.
I know, right? Like if you're going to squeeze my boob, be on the right side of the history.
Yes.
But and then of course I posted that and I got the most amazing hate. One person actually said, basically, I hope you get cancer. Well, someone said, I hope they find
so nice.
Yeah.
Which is really nice.
Yeah. Make America great again, people. That's what
I think I'm going to write about today. Yeah. It's just like what? And then of course, what do they say? Oh, well, you cheered when Donald Trump was shot. And did I? And then they asked
First of all, he wasn't shot.
Right, that part. And then, of course, they go to Grok because this is what they all do now. And Grok's like, actually, there's no evidence to support that JoJo from Jers applauded or celebrated.
Listen.
Grok has said nice things about you, Joe, which I thought was great.
I know.
Somebody asked if you were an idiot, and they were like, and the Grok answered it with like, there is no indication of that. In fact, JoJo from Jersey's postings indicate that she's of high intelligence with wit, and many of her comments are well-sourced and fact-based. I was like, okay, yay for Grok.
Right, Grok. Okay.
Wait,
maybe not a Nazi, right?
Right. But one of the trolls actually said she's not going to sleep with you, Grok. You're talking to a supercomputer that is poisoning the planet.
I know.
What are you doing? Anyway,
I'm
going off on a tangent on that, but
yes,
I mean,
we have to. We got to be able to have
go
some
get your
levity
screenings. And what I say, because I'm 43, so this is the 3rd time I've done it, and I know I'll be doing it for many, hopefully more years to come. But it's something we all hate doing because it's not fun. It's uncomfortable. It's like, who wants to do that? But like, we have to do it. And I always like to remind people, especially in my age group, and when we're really procrastinating these things, is that the survival rate of breast cancer now in this country is so much higher than it's ever been because of preventative measures for early screening, for early detection and treatment. And for that breast cancer, and yes, it can be obviously very, very dangerous, but statistically, it is much better outcomes than it has ever been. And for that reason, we all must be as vigilant as possible to get our early screenings and make sure we're going to do these things. And why it's even more important that insurance companies are forced by law to cover these preventative measures.
Which may no longer be the case because of the brainworm, bear dumping, whale decapitating, drug-addled idiot, RFK Jr. But can we just talk real quick about the fact that they now know, or they're saying the DOJ has the full, just a complete segue here, but the full Epstein video, that they have it in their possession.
Oh,
It's really quick. Heidi, I love you. Heidi, I love you. Anyway, sorry, keep going.
What did Heidi say? Oh yeah, Michelle's gorgeous.
I know, right? I was like, she's
so
got
nice. Thank you.
I bought her a thing when we first started working together called Hydration Queen.
I still have it. I use it all the time.
She drinks lots of water.
I do.
What?
Anyway, sorry, keep going.
That I don't know. I just a segue to shit show, more shit show stuff.
Yes.
Was it CBS broke this yesterday? I forget who broke this yesterday. That the DOJ has in its possession an unedited whole version of that video that they gave the public, missing 3 minutes. Right. So shit show is the absolute unfolding scandal that is not going away. That is the Epstein, Donald Trump. Somebody said it was the funniest tweet I've seen in a while, that I'm beginning to think that it's Epstein's not. Trump's not in the Epstein files, that Epstein's in the Trump files.
Right.
Right. So
it feels like that.
I mean, they're not going away. It's not going away.
Well, it's not going away because of the way Donald Trump has handled it. It's not because of Democrats' fault, which they keep trying to push this off on. It's the Democrats' fault, when it's like, dude, this is self-inflicted.
Yes,
you guys made it
telling
right.
People that nothing to see here. People are going to look. Not to mention, he is the first person to ever bring it up. He brought it up at a rally in 2015, trying to attack Bill Clinton. And again, you do not shoot an arrow unless you're 100% sure that there's not going to be any splatter back on yourself. And this mofo never thinks these things through. And he just thought, oh, I'm going to own Bill Clinton here. No, babe, you're owned right along with it, if not at the top of the hill. So
because last time we checked, Bill Clinton didn't own a club that Jeffrey Epstein was snatching girls from, by Trump's own admittance, which just came out yesterday, which is the new version of Trump and Epstein's alleged fallout. And there's been like 5 different iterations of this, where he was trying to say that, oh yeah, we were friends. You can't deny that. The documentation's like undeniable, that they were more than just friends. They were BFFs for years. But then it's like, oh no, but I kicked him out of my club because he was a creep and blah, blah, blah. He was still a paying dues member of Mar-a-Lago until 2007.
Yeah.
And Trump is claiming now that's my mom.
25 to 64.
I told you guys she loves Chicago, and that's my mom's ring.
25 to 64.
That's my mom's ring on my phone. And it's like, when I don't put it on Do Not Disturb, it's like loud, it jolts you. Anyway, he was a paying dues member until 2007. Then Trump claimed that he threw him out of his club before that, which wasn't true. Okay.
Nope.
Then yesterday he's claiming that, Virginia Giuffre, who was the poor girl who committed suicide in April, who was trafficked and recruited by Ghislaine Maxwell at 16 when she worked at the spa at Mar-a-Lago. This is all well known. This has been talked about for years. Yep. And she was a sex slave for them for 2 years with Jeffrey Epstein and the whole Prince Andrew thing. Prince Andrew lost his royal titles, and he was reprimanded. They were sued. He settled. Her whole story was just one small microcosm of this sick and disgusting ring this trafficking ring that they had. And Donald Trump now invokes her name, which was so infuriating, because she's not here anymore to speak for herself. Yep. And was like, yeah, he stole her from the club, but she never said anything bad about us. She was 16 when she was stolen. And that was in 2000. So if you knew about that then, you were still taking his money and still friends with him for years after that. So which is it, you lying bastard?
Yep. Yeah. The lies have, like, they're consuming the lies now. Like, he can't keep up. He's usually been able to lie his way out of these things with just whatever, right? He can talk out both sides of his mouth about everything from the classified documents in his, chandelier shitter, to January 6th, to the hush money case, to whatever, where the truth doesn't matter. He'll worm his way out of it. But his lies are catching up to him now. Like, people are like, wait, that's not what you said. And then they're doing math. They're like you said, Tara, like, wait, you said you ended your friendship with him because first of all, you said he was a creep. Now it's not because he was a creep. It's because he was stealing your employees, one of which was Virginia Giuffre, or however you say it. It's Giuffre. Is that how you say it?
I think it's Giuffre, but I think it's
Giuffre. Yeah, and then you were friends with him for at least 5 more years, and he was paying to be a member of your club for at least 5 more years. So none of the math is mathing. And by the way, when you say you never had the privilege of going to Epstein Island, the privilege, like nobody uses that word accidentally. You know what I mean?
So, and he wished Ghislaine Maxwell well during the Jonathan Swan interview. And this is something that I think people need to understand.
Yeah.
Years ago, Julie K. Brown was the intrepid reporter for the Miami Herald who was on this story years ago. And so was Vicky Ward. She also wrote the book about Jared Kushner. Kushner Inc. Excellent. She's an excellent investigative reporter. She's on Substack. Vicky Ward investigates. Follow her and subscribe to her. She's amazing. She also did a lot of work on Ghislaine Maxwell and diving into that whole thing. And I'm going to try and see if we can get Vicky on, actually.
That'd be great.
But Tara Palmieri was also on, more recent, a little newer to this story. And she traveled with Virginia Giuffre for, I think, a year, talking about this, getting to know her, before she passed. And people forget Donald Trump has known Ghislaine Maxwell since she was a kid.
Yeah,
because her father owned the Daily News.
That's right.
So back in the 80s. So Donald Trump goes back decades with Ghislaine Maxwell. I forgot about this until Tara Palmieri was on CNN last night. And I was like, oh my God, it's all coming back to me now from back there, all the reporting in 2018, 19, 20 about this. And I was like, holy shit, that's right. And all this, like the question about whether Ghislaine Maxwell's father was like an Israeli spy or something and like doing something, was involved in like Russian mafia stuff. Like there was all this like weird stuff about her father. But the point is that Donald Trump has known her since she was a teenager. And her father, similar to the way that Trump parades Ivanka around, was the same thing with her. He was like obsessed with her. He was her pride and joy. He brought her everywhere. She was involved in the business stuff and all the high society stuff. So Donald Trump and Ghislaine Maxwell have a long-standing relationship that predates Jeffrey Epstein.
Yep. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. And if
so it all makes sense now.
The pattern, like, because I've long, with people's origin stories, you wonder, like, what was it the original abuse? Because it's triggered by some sort of childhood trauma, right? That you don't just become the kind of person who can, essentially snatch innocent girls and then traffic them into this disgusting, monstrous world. So, like, to your point, Tara, I didn't know this, but if her dad was sexualizing her and in the way that like Trump has sexualized Ivanka, none of this is normal, by the way. You know what I mean? You do have to wonder. I mean, there's a lot of parallels there, but I did not know that they knew each other before. I don't know her origin story with Epstein at all, as a matter of fact. Well, so I don't know how they met either.
I was wondering, I have just a few seconds here. I won't play obviously the whole thing. I'll get it off the screen before it's over, but I just would like to play, Emily, I'll hit the add to stage. Just a few seconds of her talking to the Today Show about Ghislaine Maxwell. This is Virginia Giuffre.
She is a monster. She's worse than Epstein.
CBS, sorry.
She did things even worse than Epstein did. She was vicious, she was evil, and she was a woman.
Her lawyers have said Ghislaine Maxwell is not a Jeffrey Epstein, that she has been a victim of media spin.
They're doing their job, but I know that woman. I've known her really well. Put it this way. Epstein was Pinocchio and she was Geppetto. She was the guy controlling
the strings.
Jeffrey. Yep, she was pulling the strings. She had his money. He had her contacts. But Ghislaine was much more conniving and smart than Epstein ever was.
I mean,
there's not enough about this being reported. She is nobody's fucking victim. Right. And the fact that some people in MAGA are now trying to make her seem sympathetic is insane. And people really should be pointing this out more because this is, sometimes they put a woman out front because they think it puts a softer image on things, right? The same thing with Kristi Noem, who is a horrible, wretched person, right? Cruel person, puppy murderer. And same thing with Ghislaine Maxwell.
Exactly.
She's a psychopath monster.
And why she was even more, I hate to use the word effective, but effective in
recruiting
in recruiting these young girls, because, and I've said this many times in the last couple of weeks, but like as children, we are often told or it is an understanding to us. If you were in trouble, if you were lost, like, what do? You look around, you find a woman, you find another mom, because the moms will help you. So to have a woman like Ghislaine Maxwell going out, finding young girls, children, hunting them down, grooming them, and then recruiting them, and then raping them, and
she
selling.
participated, by the way.
And she participated sexually.
Taught them how to do it too.
Right. And then sold these girls to rich and powerful men from around the world.
Yep.
She is a terrible human being, and she deserves to spend the rest of her life in a 10-by-2 jail cell.
If she, let me tell you what I would do to this person. I'd probably get banned from the internet if I said the things that I would do to this person if they even fucking hinted at it touching or approaching my child. Okay, she wouldn't see daylight. She wouldn't get to go for a jog. Okay, she would not. But this is the woman that Donald Trump said many times, I wish her well. Even he said it from behind the podium in the press briefing room as well. Who he has not yet said, not one time, that no, I will not consider giving her a pardon. What has he said every time? I can do it. Right. I'm allowed to do it.
Right.
You know, that to me, if you can't say definitively that this monster is not going to get any kind of immunity or commutation from you, then you are 1000%, considering he sent his personal defense attorney to talk to her. And now she's making deals about whether or not she's going to testify on Capitol Hill and what she gets in exchange. We don't make deals with child sex offenders. No.
Exactly. Like, I don't give a fuck what she wants. I don't care what Ghislaine Maxwell is demanding. Are you out of your mind? Why
she's a pedophile.
Exactly.
She's a pedophile.
She raped children and recruited them for kids to be raped. And so, like, I don't want to hear one more MAGA person say anything about sex trafficking and pedophiles and any of that when your freaking people are the ones over here cutting deals and calling victims to people like Ghislaine Maxwell and giving Donald Trump a pass for lying about it. I don't want to hear it.
And this also feeds into I'll get to my over it real quick, and then we can move on, because this speaks my over it too, because another thing they're doing is they're trying to gaslight the American people and the world into us believing that they're not releasing this information because they want to protect the victims. Bullshit. So my over it has to do with that, because Kevin O'Leary, who I literally only know he exists because of Shark Tank, like I don't know anything beyond the fact that he's Canadian. I was on Piers Morgan with him once, and he was a freaking idiot. I thought he was on drugs or something. The guy was so out of it. Was so out of it. And what he's doing on these CNN panels. But do you have the clip? Because this is what he said on Abby Phillips' show last night. So I think we have that, maybe. Hopefully. Well, if not, what he said, Kevin O'Leary, was that well, and now he was.
What happened?
I hear you.
Why am I the only person?
There you are.
Why am I here alone?
All by myself.
I'm like, I can hear them. I don't know where they went.
So what he said, I don't think we have the clip, but what he said, Kevin O'Leary said that the victims just want to move on with their lives, that this is to protect the victims. The victims don't want to talk about this anymore. They're being shielded from this. How anyone could want the victims to be re-traumatized is what he said. And as a survivor of rape, and I'm very open about this, no, we don't want this accountability because we want to be re-traumatized. We are perpetually traumatized. These survivors and victims, they want accountability. They want justice for what was done to them. There's no day of their lives where they can exist without this being a part of who they are, a part of their life story. Something was stolen from them. Something was shattered inside of them by these predators. And for Kevin O'Leary, again, I don't know why Abby keeps having him on these panels.
Well, I have the clip. Emily is having some technical difficulties on her side, so I'm actually going to see if I can hit play and see what happens. Okay. If it's just me by myself, then I'll bring you back in. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Let me see.
Here we go. Hopefully.
It's not working.
Okay. Well,
It's not working.
again,
Sorry.
but why? This is another person running cover for Donald Trump and for all the predators, including Gillian, but all the predators. He basically was saying that they were the only people that should have been held accountable. Were one of them is dead and one of them is in a prison cell. Oh, really? Who are these girls trafficked to? Where's the accountability for them? And why are you covering for them? And why are you covering for Donald Trump? And stop gaslighting us into thinking this is about protecting the victims. That's bullshit.
100%. And when you sent that clip and I saw it, what made it even more infuriating on top of all the things that are infuriating about how obnoxious Kevin O'Leary is, I put, tell me you're an ignorant misogynist without telling me you're an ignorant misogynist. Because I'm sorry, but women who are survivors and who are victimized by people like this, they don't need the Kevin O'Learys of the world speaking on their behalf. When he's had no interaction, no connection, nothing whatsoever. How about you shut the fuck up and don't speak for women who had to endure this? Like as if you are some kind of sanctimonious, man savior that's going to tell us what women feel and think about being re-victimized. Shut up. And when Tiffany Cross, to her credit, said to him, have you spoken to any of these women? And he was like, well, no, but when she was like, then how are you going to speak for them? She was exactly right about that. She was like, and he goes, well, wouldn't you want to? And she's like, no, I would want justice for what was done. And he's like, well, I don't understand. Why would you want to relive it? What is it for? Then he said, and they were cross talking, but if you listen carefully to it, and I encourage people to watch the exchange, he goes, well, is it for money or is it for what? Like to keep it going. How dare he think that women would want to keep this going for money?
Yep. Emily was just able to load this in on the other side. So let's try this again because I think it's worth watching.
Yes. She's been convicted, right? She's been convicted of actually some very serious crimes. And many of the victims are publicly, they implicate her very directly in this whole scheme.
She is a felon convicted.
But why won't Trump rule out pardoning her? Why are they even talking to her about an immunity deal? Why?
Okay, if any of you cared about the victims, you wouldn't drag these women who are in childbearing years now, some of them having children, back into the limelight, back into the same story to expose them again to this hideous outcome because these guys,
if you don't,
so you want to do that,
do it to somebody else.
Them,
They could be doing it to somebody else
they
right
don't
now.
want
as
you
we
to
sit here on
help them
TV.
anymore. They want them.
How do you know that? What are you basing
I know
that
with
on?
certainty they'd rather
You've
live out
spoken
their
to the
lives than
victims
keep
who
being
said
brought
they don't
back
want justice
talking
brought
about
forth.
Epstein. You really think they want that now?
You're speaking
They're
on
done with
behalf
it.
of women, saying that you've personally spoken to victims who said they do
I
not
have
want
spoken
justice
to
pursued.
no one. I'm just being pragmatic.
So then that is an
You're
irresponsible
dragging out
statement.
women.
You have
who
no
would,
idea what these young women
If
want.
it was you, you'd rather get on with your life? Aren't you
No,
done
if
with
it
this?
were me, I
You
would
wanna
want
keep-
justice pursued. If
Here's
it were
what
me.
a person who should be
money. What do you want?
Here's
I
who
would want
should
the
get on
truth
with
to
his
come
life.
out.
The truth is out. There's a prisoner and there's a dead guy. That's the truth. All right?
And that's
what
the
happened.
only truth that exists.
But here's the truth that we.
Fuck you.
He is so hideous. First of all, he's orange. He's orange. And because they all make themselves orange now.
Is he orange around the mouth?
Well, you can zoom in on the next.
I'm just asking for people in the back.
Listen, I mean, not to make light of this, but listen, abuse of any kind, okay? Whether emotional abuse, physical abuse, sexual abuse, okay? All very different, but all the same. If you don't know what abuse does to people, you have no right to speak on their behalf. No right. And I am so tired of listening to white men, straight white men, talk on behalf of other people who they have done no work. No, they have put in zero time in trying to understand the life experience of other people who walk this earth. They just love, people like Kevin O'Leary love to hear themselves talk, and they love to make money at the pain of others. I am so sick of this guy and everybody like him. I am so sick of it. I am so sick of the white guys. And I'm just saying in general, not all white guys, I get it. Okay, not all white guys, whatever. There are a lot of white guys like this who just love to hear themselves talk. They love to be trusted, the implicit trust that is put into their words before anybody else. I am so tired of it. I have worked for people like this. I have had to sit and listen to people like this talk and talk and talk and talk on the behalf of other people, marginalized people in this country. And when I listen to people speak on behalf of survivors, how dare you?
I know.
How dare you?
I know. The audacity, the gall, the audacity. It's just the unmitigated gall of people like him. And I can co-sign for Michelle, having experienced something similar with people whose words will be taken over yours, who are given, they're given automatic trust, and they'll, they're automatically assumed that they are competent because they're white men. We've talked about this even with our Seneca Project stuff. Like people as a women-led organization, that it's known that people are less likely to give money to something that's women-led. But you put a man out front doing the same thing, they can't wait. Where do I write the 6-figure check? Like, it's unbelievable.
And survivors. I'm just like, I can't get over it. I can't get over it.
Again, they have no problem using women as a shield also.
Exactly.
They'll put us out front, though, to save their asses, or they'll put us out front when they need to.
Oh, look, I hired a woman. Oh, look, I made a video about a woman. Okay.
Yep. And here's the thing, as a survivor, it is very, 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 very difficult to come forward and share. I can speak to my own story. And I know a lot of survivors who said this as well. It's really, really hard. When I tried in the beginning with my own personal story, nobody believed me. They didn't believe me. My best friends didn't believe me, right? And so what happens to survivors often is that other people condition their own responses to what they experienced, so that they then internalize that as something that they should be ashamed of.
That's
something that they deserved, because other people who are separated from that direct trauma are telling them either they're lying, or they're downplaying it, or they're using them to scapegoat and blame shift. Whatever it is hard enough for these people to come forward and deal with their own trauma and share it with others. So for that piece of shit to say he can guarantee that the survivors want to move on with their lives, it is, again, another thing that tells survivors you don't matter. What I tell you, your reality is what matters, while I protect predators. That's so fucked up. And what I pray to God does not result from all of this. I pray that the opposite comes out. What I worry about, Julie wrote about it first. She inspired me to write about it, about the impact all of this is having on victims, on survivors, on them being able to speak out and recognize what happened to them and share it with others, so that they can move forward and heal, instead of internalizing it and living in shame. Because we now know, and Virginia was out there. She took her own life. This stuff doesn't go away. And for people like him to sit there and pretend that he knows what survivors have to endure is just insane. I mean, it's maddening, and they should never have him back on that show ever again.
Never.
And but they will.
To say thank you. I just want to, because I know how hard it is to talk about. I mean, I don't know personally, but this stuff is really hard. And I just want to thank you for being so candid and so honest and so open about the things that have happened to you, because I think, yes, there's strength in numbers. And I hope that maybe hearing you speak about it, will give others courage to speak out. And when they speak out, find any kind of healing in their lives, but also, more importantly, that other people can maybe just for a second get a glimmer of what it is like to walk in the shoes of someone who has been through one of the worst things that a person.
And it's not their fault. It's not their fault. This is the right. And thank you. It took me until my 40s, and I was raped in high school, and it took me decades. This is what happens, because what we're told by society is either you're lying, or you're a slut, or you deserved it.
And this is why people stay quiet, because they're like, I can't deal, like, no one's going to believe me. And if I do speak out, someone's going to call me all these names, and they're going to make my life harder. And it's already hard. I'd rather just, be quiet and just move on with my life, and this is why storytelling also is equally as important. And I'm watching The Handmaid's Tale, just FYI, for the third time through. I'm watching it again right now, with family members who are watching it for the first time. And can you imagine if June and these women, who, by the way, Margaret Atwood didn't write about anything that didn't happen to women somewhere in the world. So this is based on actual things that have happened in the world to women. There's a reason why when women escaped it, felt, yeah, I'm not just going to move on. I'm not just going to go try and find happiness. I need justice. I need justice for myself and for the other women who never lived to see the day that they could have their justice. And that is why it is so important that we all continue to support the women in this world who have experienced this and who have survived this. And we have to keep talking about it. We have to.
That's absolutely right. That was the whole purpose of the Me Too movement.
Right.
Right. The whole, that was something that for women, they were finally like, finally, and the floodgates opened. Floodgates opened. And the Brett Kavanaugh hearings was another inflection point where the floodgates opened. And I've talked about this, that my mom was sexually molested by a doctor, an OBGYN, who was a prominent doctor in our area in New Jersey. And she never said anything because she was 23 years old. She had a biracial child, a single parent, whose father was the captain of the police department in town. She was more concerned that they wouldn't believe her.
Oh my God.
So she kept that quiet until the Kavanaugh situation. She also had a teacher when she was 9 that had a crush on her and would take her to make her stay after school and would bring her into the gymnasium. And he never actually, and she remembers him hugging her inappropriately and stuff. And he was and she was terrified by him. And she told my grandmother, and my grandmother told the school, and they didn't believe her.
Well, of course.
So,
not.
Back in the 60s, whenever it was, and she was 9. So this happened to my mom more than once. And my mom's no wallflower, right? But she grew up at a time when women couldn't speak out and be believed. And I wrote about this actually in 2018 on CNN, on CNN.com, because I was a contributor then, but that she finally felt after all those years, because of the Kavanaugh situation and seeing how Christy Blasey Ford was being treated and how others who were coming out were being treated. And my mom said, it happened to me. And I can understand why she would stay quiet all these years. And I was horrified. And my mom and I are like this. And she didn't tell me that until then. So, I mean, this is something that is so deeply rooted in our culture and so incredibly serious for women. You wouldn't know how many women have experienced these things and are afraid and ashamed. We've been for so long. And then for the Me Too movement now to be cast aside and is forgotten because we're all too worrying about, men getting their feelings hurt. And so it's all about them now.
Yeah, we put our own danger, unfortunately, to the side because there's bigger fish to fry. And that this is just what has happened throughout history is we just, our problems and our danger and our well-being, unfortunately, in these moments just aren't as important anymore.
And I just want to say, to your point earlier, Michelle, about JoJo's courage, speaking about this, there are several people in our chat right now who are talking about abuse that they have suffered and that they have survived, like multiple story after story after story. Some of them are regular viewers of our programs. And I just want to say to you guys that we appreciate that you feel comfortable and in a safe space enough in this community that we've been building here to share your stories too, because it just goes to show you that we're not alone in our experiences. And there's power in numbers, and there's a reason why community matters. It matters. So
thank you for saying that. And to everybody who is brave and sharing their truths in the chat, you're not alone. And this community does support you, and we support each other. And it takes the power away from the narrative that others would like us to believe when you share your truths with each other. And it breaks down barriers, it breaks down walls, it opens conversation up, that these conversations are incredibly consequential and important, and particularly as we have a country that is ruled by a predator. Predator. Yeah.
Literally.
This country willingly and knowingly elected an adjudicated rapist.
Yeah.
Did you guys see Did you see the cover, the newspaper cover in Scotland when he arrived?
No.
There was. I had to check to make sure it wasn't AI. It was. CNN reported it. It was a huge front page that said convicted felon arrives. U.S. convicted felon arrives in Scotland.
I love it.
Mhm.
I love it.
thought
I
had
love
it.
it.
Must have
Like,
taken it off my
They
phone.
him.
24 font.
It was the National, I believe it was what it's called. It's a pro-independence newspaper in Scotland, and that was the front page that greeted him as he got there. It was pretty great.
It was glorious.
The trip he took to Scotland that cost us how much?
$10 million.
Yeah,
10 million. He could promote his own club. Yeah, 10.
Yeah.
Okay, but waste, fraud, and abuse, and pediatric cancer this, and school lunches that, and services for autistic children. But we can't afford any of that. But we can afford $10 million for a trip to Scotland for him.
Yep.
to make more money.
And then for him to go on crazy rants about windmills and all of that.
Oh
and
my
I
God.
mean, anyone who what is that AI baby meme
so funny.
account, which is hilarious. The one that puts all the babies in AI to pretend to be the politicians.
George Conway just posted them.
Oh,
I was watching all their videos
God.
this morning because I'm gonna find.
Somebody will figure out the name and we'll post. It is, if you're not following it, you need some levity. It's hysterical. But it leads me to my over it because this is consistent now
Truth
with
telling.
what this administration is doing, what they're allowing, and what the Republican Party, which I have never been prouder of leaving and hoping it burns to the ground every single day, because they proved to me why it was the best decision I ever made to leave them. Mel Beauvais was confirmed last night to a lifetime appellate court judgeship. Lifetime federal judge. This is what this guy's been rewarded with. This is the guy who was the personal defense attorney of Donald Trump. And he was the guy who got a cushy job at the Department of Justice and was basically telling people inside DOJ to fuck what judges had to say. Tell them, fuck you, we're going to do what we want and ask for forgiveness later. This was all during the original deportation flights and all of that. And so this is the guy that now has been nominated. This is rigging the system. You want to talk about rigging the system? This is how you do it. You put your henchmen in places that are lifetime appointments. The Supreme Court. You see what happened there? Now they're stacking the appellate courts and the federal judge seats. Emile Beauvais is a terrible person. And just one of the accusations against him would have been disqualifying in the days of yesteryear. Okay. He had 3 whistleblowers, not 1, not 2, but 3 credible whistleblowers. And if we can put it back up again, what Chuck Grassley actually said. Chuck Grassley, who is 150 years old. He is the chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee, which this nomination should never have made it out of. But it got voted out of committee thanks to Chuck Grassley pushing it through, even though that there were whistleblowers who came forward and explained to people what this guy was doing.
3 of them at least? Yeah.
At least 3. There were 2 before, and then 1 more came out yesterday before the vote. And today, Chuck Grassley had the audacity to tweet out that today is National Whistleblower Day. And can you put his tweet back up? Today is National Whistleblower Day. Too often whistleblowers are treated like skunks at a picnic. They are patriotic people trying to keep government accountable to the people. Government accountable to the people in all caps. Chuck Grassley, who just pushed through the nomination and confirmation of Emile Beauvais, who is one of the most corrupt people to ever be named to a lifetime appointment on the federal bench, who ignored the 3 whistleblowers who came forward. Now, I want to give a shout out to Whistleblower Aid. We have friends of ours over there. They are an amazing organization. Whistleblower Aid represented these folks, and they are doing God's work, representing a lot of these whistleblowers. Talk about also not easy to come forward either. And they put out yesterday that the evidence of one of their whistleblowers' declarations disappeared. It was lost.
So gross.
It says that this is the breaking. Department of Justice lost our whistleblower client's evidence regarding Emile Beauvais and other senior DOJ officials' defiance of court orders and cover-up from May 5th until just yesterday, the eve of Beauvais' confirmation vote. So it was well known, and these Republicans ignored it. They were like, we don't care. We're going to do Donald Trump's bidding and give this guy I want to reiterate, lifetime appointment. He's never getting off that bench unless
he might. If he goes to the Supreme Court.
Well, there's that. Right. That's correct.
Which
usually the pattern, that's the pathway. You're on the appellate court, and then you become in the pipeline for Supreme Court, which they're concerned because what's his name? Clarence Thomas is itching to retire. So just the fact that Senator Grassley would put that out after talk about gaslighting.
I mean,
what are we doing? And then you have Tom Tillis, who is not even running for re-election anymore, still voted in favor of this guy. They only needed one more senator besides if he had said so. So Collins and Murkowski, okay, at least they voted no, whatever. But they still needed two more Republican senators to sink this thing. And only two, I mean, the fact that you couldn't get two more Republican senators to stop this guy is just insane. Again, the hypocrisy of these craven cowards. They know. If this had been a Democrat and there was just a hint of what they did, it wouldn't happen. But Tillis was asked, like, you're not running for re-election. Why are you voting for this guy? And he was like, well, it doesn't matter. Even if I vote no, JD Vance can just break the tie. We need 4 of us.
Okay.
Courage.
Then make him come and do it. Ruin that man's day and make him come and do it.
Profiles encourage, friends.
Right.
My name is Republican.
Right.
Like,
how about I don't want this? I'm not going to say yes and have that on my record. That I'm a fucking hypocrite and I'm going to vote for someone like this.
That would be like us living in, I don't know, like this, like the 3 of us live in Alabama and Donald Trump's going to win our state anyway. So we're going to go vote for Donald Trump. No.
Right.
No. You vote no. You vote for somebody else or something else. Like, this is where I don't understand this. Well, they're going to do it anyways. So I might as well. No.
Well, that and for the others, this is the line I will never understand for as long as I live, when they say, well, I'm afraid of a primary. They're afraid of a primary. So what are you doing in Congress? Right. What are you doing in a body like the United States Senate, which is supposed to be the most deliberative legislative body in the fucking world? What are you doing there if you're not there to actually represent both your inner compass and the constituents that you supposedly serve? If you're more afraid of losing your job than you are for standing on a principle, then get the fuck out.
Exactly.
Go get a job. Go be a greeter at Walmart. Go change the urinal cakes at the truck stop on fucking Route 80. I don't give a shit. But that job ain't for you. Knock it off.
Yeah.
This is not profiles in courage, friends. This is fucking dick punching cowardice. Like, knock it off the guys. That party has left the reservation.
That's how we got here. That's how we got here. It's the enablers.
Yes.
I always said this. I've said it for years now, that since 2016, it's the enablers. I blame them. I don't even blame Trump. Trump is who he is and has been
and the other
very
true
open
believers.
about it.
There's other true believers that I'm like, you're terrible, but like, at least you're doing what you believe in. The rest of these people don't believe in any of this.
No,
they're just doing it. It's they're nihilists. It's a path of least resistance, and they're just, again, figuring, well, it's going to happen anyways. I might as well just lean into it and make some money.
I mean, 1930s Germany.
Yeah, and the lead up to the 2016 election, a book came out called How Democracies Die, and I was obsessed with that book.
Yes,
because I was worried, as we all were, that God forbid this thing happen. And what they talked about in the book were the ways to prevent, authoritarian regime, Donald Trump, etc. And one of the things they pointed out with Nixon was the guardrails that were in place because there were Republicans who were willing to say no. Country over party, not party over country. We don't serve one man, we serve the people, and that is gone, and that's how we have gotten here.
And at least Nixon was an institutionalist.
Correct.
He was a bad guy. He was extremely corrupt and mentally had some issues, but he respected the institution of the presidency, and for that reason is why he left.
Absolutely. And, I mean, Nixon is a Boy Scout compared to what's going on today. Are you kidding
he was, me? And by the way, with the mental thing, I was just saying he was paranoid as hell.
Yeah,
that man was like always,
Yes, and he also was heavy with the bottle. So there was
and extremely racist and hated women. But, the list goes on. But
at least he had enough sense not to completely say screw you to the Constitution and to certain institutional norms. I mean, it came up pretty close.
And people in his party were willing to be like, you know what? You ain't the guy. This ain't the look. This is not, this is not democracy. This is not what the founders wanted. And we have to be the breach against this overreach right now. And that is gone long. Yeah. Hey, Mitch McConnell, that is long gone. They had their last real chance in the second impeachment. They had their last real chance to reclaim or at least regain some of their credibility as a party. And then we all know what they did there. So that's, really
and
one
not,
of the original sins.
And not set this country on the course that we're on now. What is the woe? I always get nervous.
No,
about
sorry. That. No. Somebody in the chat was like, I heard that Beauvais is in his 40s. And so I just
He's
Googled.
44.
He's 40. What? He was born in 1981.
I saw that and I was like, I'm sorry, I'm 6 years older than this guy.
He's a year older than me. That's it.
I was like,
you alive from inside and out.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I was like, I mean, yeah.
That's like DeSantis too. He looks like he's weathered.
Of course. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what happens.
Stephen Miller aging like milk in the hot sun. Stephen Miller's not even 40.
I know. Which is
I could be Stephen Miller's mom. Really.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. I mean
technically.
But good God! I mean,
he wasn't born; he was spawn of some like
Gollum,
soup outside of a nuclear waste facility, and by like garbage dump. He wasn't born; he was spawn.
Oh my God! Well, I mean,
Sorry.
One last thing before we get to Michelle's over it. Speaking of spawns, did you guys see this ridiculous propaganda video of ICE border bitch Barbie, Christine Nome?
Oh God! Oh, this is the horse one.
Badly riding the horse in Argentina. Now, as someone who grew up with an aunt who was a horse trainer and competed in open horse jumping, I grew up around horses as a kid and appreciate beautiful horses and have been to many horse shows.
I grew up across the street from a horse farm.
Yes, that's right, in upstate New York. And so, I know a thing or two about horses and riding and all of that. And I watched that and was like, okay, you suck. And she's from, where is she from? The Dakotas? Yeah. And you can't ride well? What's wrong with you? But anyway,
Corey Lewandowski.
I'm like, right. She was with Corey, right? Her little friend. Corey
Lewandowski, who's apparently on her staff, who's now traveling. We're paying for their little love affair.
Staff.
Yeah. Joe. The two first, just keep them coming. The jokes write themselves. The jokes write themselves.
That's what he said, Sarah.
Folks, just Google it. Google Corey Lewandowski and Christine Nome. We're not making this up. It's well known that they have an affinity.
Well,
for one
I remember
another.
when that story came out when I worked at the other place and we had the Daily Show guys, and I remember we were on a group text and I was like, and we made a little video. It's like just their mashup of the two of them talking about family values and their marriages and their kids and all the stuff. It's crazy. I mean, he's like, I've got 4 kids and a wife. Blah, 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 blah.
Please.
Yes.
Yeah. And meanwhile, he's over there, canoodling with Christy Nome. Right. And now they're on the taxpayer dollar doing it. And she's down in Argentina.
That horse better watch out too. You're going to get it between the eyes because with her around.
Yeah,
right.
That video had a horse's ass in it and
a horse. Yeah, exactly.
A horse's ass and a horse's ass.
Right. Sorry. So one with Botox, one without. And it's just disgusting. And we're paying for this and the propaganda videos and like, are you the Department of Homeland Security secretary? Aren't you supposed to be like doing things to protect our security? No, instead you're over here living out some fantasy, right? Thinking you're fucking what's her name on a horse. Like I can't with Brooke Shields riding a horse that's out in the I can't do it. And her freaking she had leggings. She got on camouflage leggings. Did you see that? Yeah, when she got off the plane to meet the Chilean officials? Like, I can't do it with these people.
But what part of Homeland? Just riding a horse in South America? Like, what part of Homeland?
It's not in the job description. That's for sure.
No. Argentina and South America is because of the drug trade and certain things and terrorist organizations and having to work with our partners down there. If you're person,
listen.
Your Heidi fantasy here, riding horses. Like it's insane to me that this is okay. And this is what she every day.
The thing about her and others is like some of them did not cast in the School Musical, and it shows.
Yes.
Like they are still upset that they were not cast as Sandy and Grease, and so they grew up to run for Congress, and then they're Kristi Noem, and they're Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi Gabbard's another one.
Oh, I
Like
know.
like people don't talk about this enough with Tulsi Gabbard. Like she's out here like saying crazy shit, but like that bitch just wants to be famous. And that is a big part of what
and she was in a cult.
I know.
A wacko cult.
Joe Simon just said, or no, sorry, Joe Simon didn't say this, but Casual Observer did. DC is Hollywood for ugly people. People say this.
It's that. Listen,
I didn't say it,
but
but
they've been saying this
people
for
are
years
saying,
and years. Yes.
And now they're going to have the stage production at the Melania Trump Center. It's going to be Clanny Get Your Gun, starring Kristi.
Listen, so just as an aside, really quick, and I want you guys to go Google this, okay? There is a guy named Brian Cloudis, okay? He is like the MAGA theater director.
Oh my God.
And he directs these insanely dangerous productions of musicals. They did a Titanic in the middle of the summer in Georgia. Someone almost drowned. They did it outside. I'm not kidding. And then there was another production they did of Miss Saigon, and they had like a helicopter fly in, and it was like outside. And he's like the MAGA guy. Now he's the one that directed this outside production of Oklahoma that O'Keefe was in. You know, what's his face?
Oh my God, Project Veritas guy, James O'Keefe.
Yes, and Brian. Right. So, and he's friends with Roger Stone. And so I'm just saying. I
love Oklahoma. It's one of my favorites.
It's a beautiful show. It's a beautiful, beautiful show. But Brian Cloudis, you should look into this because it's real. And I'm just saying that like there's I could see a Kristi Noem production of Annie Get Your Gun, and she come.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I'm just saying, Brian Cloudis, just look into it because I have a friend who was in the production of Titanic and it was in the Miss Saigon. And like they don't use union people, obviously. And like people almost died.
Oh my God.
But for Kristi Noem, they're going to do like they'll do some montage of all the scenes where like animals get shot in Disney films. They're like,
there's not going to be falsettos or piano. No.
And now Kristi Noem shoots Bambi's mom. Yeah. I said Clanny.
Well, like, and there's some MAGA people. No, well, that's true. But there's some MAGA people who have been pushed out of the Broadway community for being MAGA. Yeah. And so there's always a joke, and it's like, well, at least she can go do a Brian Cloudis show now.
Oh my God, I haven't either.
Girl, I want to do a whole show about this because
you should.
So
funny. I told you to start a damn Substack about this.
I know.
What?
Maybe seriously, this is like the O'Keefe. Like they have a whole like entertainment theater thing for like the rejects and MAGA. I swear, I'm not. We'll talk. We'll do. Yeah,
if only. Well, I will just like to say,
George Santos is in prison now.
Yes,
I can't show up for that.
Well, he could start it. He could start the prison pipeline. Production of that.
He's already started the prison pipeline.
Yeah, there you go. George, produced by George Santos, aka Katara. The whole renaming of the Kennedy Center thing. First, it started with Melania. They wanted to rename the opera house after Melania, which is just such an affront to anyone who's ever been to the Kennedy Center, appreciates good, tasteful musical productions. Melania's name shouldn't be near anything like that. Maybe back on 42nd Street, 42nd and 8th in the 1970s.
I was going to say,
named after her there.
Not now.
But, not now. Right. But now some jackass from Missouri has introduced a bill to name the entire Kennedy Center after Trump. I would just like
listen. We saw this coming. Saw this coming.
Yes, straight out of the dictator.
And they'll do it.
Everything's going to be named after him eventually.
Maybe not. I would.
Well, somebody's like, well, there's a law that says they can't. I'm like, what?
I mean, Congress has to pass it. There are some hurdles they'd have to go through to do it because it's considered a living memorial. There's all kinds of things, and apparently there is bipartisan opposition to this.
I would hope so.
Well, let's just see how long that lasts. But I hope so. It was on the local news. The DC area today again, and I was just like, ugh.
You know, I have a lot of friends who are very deep into the DC theater scene, and I almost moved to DC like 10 years ago and was going to do that, but decided not to. Longer story that doesn't matter. But I'll say that, their experiences, and I remember talking to them, they're like, no, it's like, it's a very doing theater in DC, whether it's at the Ford's Theater or at the Kennedy Center or at the Signature, or like any of that, like it is
Arena
a
stage.
very arena.
Yeah.
It's very bipartisan. Like you
Yes.
have Republicans and Democrats alike who love to experience live theater
Yes.
and music. And you probably know Natasha Diaz. Yes, I do know. I've known Natasha Diaz a very long time, and she's actually the reason that I have my cat Oliver. But yeah, they all know people. They've all had their pictures taken with a million people. And I mean, like one of my friends actually is one of the fundraisers at the Wolf Trap. Tara,
Yes.
she runs the fundraising there,
Right.
and that's where she met Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And Ruth Bader Ginsburg was there with people all the time, and RBG ended up officiating her wedding and whatnot. But
Wow.
yeah, but like I mean, that's what everybody
Wow.
goes to this stuff. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And even now, and like this is again, dollar store. Donald Trump.
Yeah.
He turns everything into a Hydrox cookie.
Yeah.
Like we
It's
have
terrible.
Oreos, and they want to, it's
With his face on it.
Yeah.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like I said, if they come for Wolf Trap, I think that's going to be my final straw for when I take up arms. So
yeah.
Anyway, Michelle, you're over it for
Yeah,
today.
well, my over it kind of has to do with that, with the world of entertainment. And every week I think about my over it and how I want it to be how much protein everyone is telling me to eat. But there's always something that's a little bit more important, unfortunately, that I can
cutting
bitch
cheese
about.
on everything. Yeah.
I was like, I can't eat 125 grams of protein. It's like, I'll just spend my whole day thinking about it. Anyways, my thing is just like the celebrity culture and influencer culture and just notable people in this country staying quiet, staying silent. And I imagine a world or a country right now where everybody is speaking out. Can you imagine if we had everybody in the NBA, everybody in the NFL, everybody that plays baseball, everybody that's on Broadway, everybody that's in movies, that is hawking skincare on Instagram? What if everybody had something to say? You can't cancel everybody.
Yeah.
And it's the cowardice of what is going on in a country where it's now becoming, once again, white is right in this country. And everything is becoming, and even corporate America is buying into this, that white supremacy now has become so casual and so under the radar coded that people don't even realize that it's happening.
Nope.
Now, I want to play, if you guys have not seen this, this is the American Eagle ad starring Sydney Sweeney, who is a very pretty, blonde-haired, blue-eyed young woman who happens to be the darling of the right. They've all the incels love her.
Ted
let me
Cruz
just
as well. He came to her defense. Did you see that? Yeah. He didn't come to his own wife's defense when Donald Trump called her ugly, but he couldn't wait to come to Sydney Sweeney's defense.
I'm just gonna play this, and you guys tell me what you think.
They're passed down from parents to offspring, often determining traits like hair color, personality, and even eye color. My genes are blue.
Sydney Sweeney has her genes. Sydney Sweeney has her genes.
Okay, I can't even watch any more of it.
I hadn't seen that yet. I heard about it. I know. I was like very late to this one.
Yeah.
Genes are passed down from parents to offspring. Indicating things like hair color, even personality. My genes are blue. And then it pans over to a young, pretty, pale-skinned, blonde-haired, blue-eyed young woman who happens to be the darling of MAGA. She has said nothing. She has had no response to any of this. Now, here's the thing. This is what I know about marketing. that if a marketing company, which by the way, these companies hire ad agencies to put these campaigns together, they are looking at every single little thing. Who's going to buy it, what the backlash is going to be. Like, you're looking at any sort of variable that could possibly have backlash or negative impact. Now, maybe part of this is like they think that it's a dividing message, that the Democrats will be mad, or the people who like don't like white supremacy will be mad, and then the white supremacists will love it, and it'll get everybody talking. And here we are talking about it. So maybe that's part of it. I don't know. Or maybe it's just they think, well, MAGA is running the country and this is the future of the country now. So let's lean in and sell this product to people who love white people. And if I hear one more person saying, oh, liberals need to chill, not everything is about race. Yes, it is, actually. Welcome to America. Everything's about race. And if you're a white person and you're telling Black people or people of color what is racist and what is not racist, I invite you to take several seats, because I'm telling you right now, the people of color in this country who are saying things like that feel immediately uncomfortable and in danger, because they are.
We're a far cry from the United Colors of Benetton ads. I tell you that.
Correct.
I have a couple thoughts about this. If it weren't for the copy and it was just the visual,
it would just be
another Jean commercial.
It would be a poor man's Brooke Shields, Calvin Klein ad.
That's
which,
right.
By the way, the setup of this is completely unoriginal.
Yes.
It is a carbon copy of that ad campaign from the 80s.
That's right. So, but here's the other thing too about this. The guy who owns American Eagle is a Trumper.
Oh, didn't know that.
Yes, he's a huge Trumper and a Palm Beach guy. They've known Donald Trump for years. There's pictures of him and his sons and everybody palling around with Trump at Mar-a-Lago. The guy is a billionaire Trumper. So makes it even more obvious that they chose this route, this wording, and all of that to go along with this whole Christian white America, blonde hair, blue eyed. At first, because I'm always the first, I'm very cautious about making things about race, right? Because sometimes I feel like the left goes too far with it.
Yeah.
So I was like, let it sit with me for a second. And then when I started to find out more about who owns American Eagle, and I said, okay, this is deliberate. This is deliberate. And I'm like, this whole coded stuff going on, it's out there. And it fits a larger pattern of what's happening with a lot of American companies now.
Yeah.
And this morning, again, there was another, if you guys have seen the new Dodge Ram commercials, okay, the Dodge commercials now are all about, being American, and we're never apologize for being American. This was the exact wording of the Dodge Ram truck commercial that ran on CNN this morning, or was it on the Fox 5 affiliate? I can't remember. I switch between both in the mornings, but I meant to record it because I was like, holy shit, guys, it's getting worse. This is part of multiple companies doing these ad campaigns about being proud to be an American. But now they're going to, don't apologize for being American. Well, what does it mean to be an American? And I'm about to write a Substack about this also, because I've been waiting to do it, and it's just been a lot going on. But Carrie Underwood's song, All American Girl, have you guys seen that?
No.
Have you heard it?
No.
So my mom and I were out to dinner at there's like a Texas Roadhouse steakhouse up the street for me. And my mom just felt like going there because she was like, I want to try it. I was like, okay. So we went. And so of course it's very Texas inside. And before Trump, I used to love Texas. I have a lot of friends that live there. Texas was a fun place for me for years. I spent a lot of time there because of my Border Patrol advocacy stuff. But anyway, Texas now not the same for me right now. But anyway, but the food was actually pretty good. But anyway, so they show a lot of country music on the screens. Like they have like big screens all around. And so of course it goes along with the ambiance. And this Carrie Underwood song came on, All American Girl. And it was a video of her in all these different scenarios as a woman. She was a mechanic. She's a doctor. She's a astronaut. She's a, like all American girl. I can do anything. But it struck me wrong because I looked at that and I said, that's what you're telling people an all American girl is? This cutesy, blonde hair, blue eyed woman who's with her little family And she's the one that's doing all of these things. It was all about her and the imagery of her. All American girl. Last time I checked, what you're looking at on this screen, we are all American girls. All American girls don't all look like that.
That's right.
And all American girls aren't the only blonde hair, blue eyed women aren't the ones who are astronauts, police officers, in the army, in the Navy, mechanics, doctors, lawyers, whatever you want to call, whatever women can do. They all don't look like her. And the fact that in 2025 that this is what we're putting out. You know, I thought about our American Girl ad that, you know, that we won the Webby for. And I looked at her and I said, this right here is a microcosm of what's wrong with this country right now. They're trying to sell an image of what is American.
Subliminally.
That's correct. And it is not the United States of America that is e pluribus unum out of many one.
That's
it sure
right.
as hell is it.
And
I
they
have an
want
issue with that.
And they want to, I mean, looking at the commentary, they want to shame anybody who even points in the direction of saying, of calling this out, right? That, oh, come on, you're so woke, and this is what's wrong with our party. This is why we can't get men to come and join our party. You're pushing people out. And here's the thing, like when you shine a light on something that is uncomfortable for other people because you're acknowledging something that they don't want to acknowledge, and they don't want you to be on to the game that they're playing, then they're going to attack you. But it's not the only thing we're all talking about, right? That's the other thing. We can do all of these and should talk about all of these things at the same time.
Yes.
So, but the people who are saying this is all the woke left cares about, this is why they can't get new voters, that's first of all bullshit. But it is these conversations that we need to have, they don't want us to have, because this misogyny shit exists on both sides. And so does racism. So does the racism. And so does the xenophobia. And that's why people don't want us to talk about it, but you have to shine a light on it, particularly when it's uncomfortable. That means you're over the target. That's it. And so, like, these are conversations we should be having before all of a sudden we're going to look at all of our commercials, at all of the advertising that's being shoved down our throats, and it's going to be the same thing. And people are going to wait, whoa, hold on, that doesn't look like no shit.
Right.
This
is subliminal messaging. And it has been going on since the beginning of time. I mean, even if you want to look at the suffrage movement, right? There was advertising that was targeted to men and women, basically putting women in their place, telling them that they don't need the vote, and that they're monsters and they're devils and whatever else. I mean, these things were made to persuade men and women to then, self-inflict harm on themselves, essentially, by believing that this is not something that was normal or that was necessary. And it worked on a lot of people. And these things, I mean, I use suffrage as an example, but like over and over and over and over again, this happens when like with a myriad of different issues. And here we are again, when the trad wife thing is being sold to us, this traditional wifedom, which is crazy. This MAGA trad wife stuff. It's like, you're supposed to be thin, you're supposed to be beautiful, you're supposed to be white, you're supposed to be blonde, you're supposed to also be very smart and very savvy and sexy. You're not supposed to age. You're supposed to stay home. You have to be able to cook and clean, and also not go to work and not use any of the smarts or the skills or anything that you've learned in school. Because, by the way, we don't want you going to school. We want you homeschooled. Or if you go to college, you're only supposed to go to college to find a husband. Or if you're Charlie Kirk and you're talking to a bunch of young girls, high school girls, we don't even want you focused on college, because the most important thing to you out of high school is to find a husband and then also to procreate and get married. Those are your duties as a woman, and to do all of these things while being also very pretty and very hot, while your husband probably is going to go off and cheat on you anyways. So like, there's I mean, we can't win. We can't win in this scenario. So what do we have to do? We have to win for ourselves, and we have to go out and say no to this shit. And not just to these trad wife values, but also the subliminal messaging that is given to us in ads like American Eagle with Sydney Sweeney, who, by the way, just attended Jeff Bezos's wedding in Italy. So she's very much kind of leaning into this brand of herself. She's all up in it. Yeah. And she knows that she's going to make money off of this. And I don't know her, so I'm just connecting the dots here. But she knows what's in it for her. Because I'm going to tell you right now, and this is the second thing, and then, I'll let this go. But Sydney Sweeney's also not a good actress.
Oh.
And
what is she in? I admittedly don't.
She
am I
just
familiar
did
with something she's in?
She just did some rom-com with what's his face, who's very golden retriever-y. What's his name? I don't know. They filmed it in Australia.
I'm just thinking about her SNL performance, which was god awful.
Oh, I couldn't.
Yeah.
But here's the more funny thing about. Well, she was also in The Handmaid's Tale, which is funny because she was in. Yeah, she plays Nick's wife. Remember when they make him get married to like that young girl? It's her.
Oh.
Yeah. And she was also in White Lotus, the season 1 of White Lotus, which she was also pretty good. But so I say this as So I say this as, again, somebody who went to acting school and like studied with people who came from Shakespeare and Company and things like that. We have to learn things like diction. And Julie and I have this little thing on Monday nights where we just get on and try to talk about things that aren't politics. But the first thing that absolutely sent me with this ad, beyond just the eugenics of it all, Jane's a passed down for Pastor Osprey.
Where is she from?
I don't know.
New Hampshire or something, I think. Like Leo, my son, has long been obsessed with her.
I mean,
and I think he said she was from like the Northeast.
Jane's a passed down. So I've been obsessed with this for the last couple of days. So then I found this. You just have to, if you guys know SNL and the Californians, the skit that they do, the fake soap opera, I can't.
Passed down from parents to offspring, often determining traits like hair color, personality, and even eye color.
Eye color.
My genes are blue.
Stuart, let me explain. I had to fake my own death and disappear. My psycho mother was trying to kill me. And I couldn't put you in that kind of danger. After the crash, I jumped into the back of a Lincoln town car that was supposed to be waiting for Nev Campbell. I told the driver to get us lost, so we drove around Glendale for months. I had to see you one last time before I disappeared again. Forever. You make me so happy, Stuart. You're so cute.
Right. Do you know what I mean? Like things like that.
She's from Washington, but there's also the vocal fry.
Yeah, Ryan Scott on TikTok and Instagram. That's who put this together, and it was like Sydney Sweeney sounds like she got lost on the 405.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Well, I'm showing my age with that because I was like, oh, okay. Yeah,
it's like it's an ongoing sketch on about it's a soap opera about people who live in California. But that's how Stephen Miller talks too. So
he's from out there.
Right. He's from Santa Monica.
Yeah.
Fox News has a story about this called The War on Hot Women. Why the woke mob hates Sydney Sweeney.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, I mean, of course, though, but they knew what they were doing. They knew what they were doing with this. And here's the thing. And we'll end on this.
Genes are passed down from offspring.
Like they used to say that that liberals are so miserable and blah 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 blah. But we're not going to stop. We're not miserable. We are well informed, and we're going to continue to be well informed, and we're not going to stay silent. We're going to point it out. You guys can decide for yourselves, but we're going to put out the information. We'll put out the side-by-sides, and we're not going to indoctrinate you with anything. We are just going to present you with the facts.
That's right.
We have our opinions, and you guys can decide. You can decide.
Do we look miserable to you?
Or
can't you tell? Because I have so much Botox on my forehead.
I just and I think we all hate men and we all hate sex, and none of that is true. And by the way, every troll meme of me, for whatever reason, well, I can think of a lot, they give me a giant rack. It's like you guys are telling on yourself every fucking time. And by the way, did you see they put me on Mount Rushmore?
Oh my god!
Yeah, they always give me a huge rack. I'm like, you guys are telling on yourselves as you're rage jerking in your mommy's basement. Like you're telling on yourself.
They are. They all are.
Men, I don't hate sex. Like fuck you.
Oh my god.
Not gonna fuck you, but like
right. That's what they wish.
We're not miserable, friends. We are living our every version of our best lives that we possibly can. But we're also not going to put our heads in the sand and pretend like the shit that is happening isn't happening. And to Michelle's point, if more people did that, it wouldn't be such an aberration for people to have conversations like this.
That's
but instead,
exactly right.
They don't. Yeah,
And
profiles in courage again.
and
I'm
will. I'll leave everyone. I'll leave everyone on this. History does not remember the silent.
No,
that's right. That's right.
So
not even when they talk
a lot
like
of,
Sydney
or when they
Sweeney.
talk like Sydney Sweeney.
Right.
A line from my TED Talk.
History does not remember us.
So Michelle, why don't you close out the show in your best Sydney Sweeney?
Well, I mean, I don't know what else to say. I would need some sort of copy to.
Oh, for God's sakes! All
Have a
right,
happy Wednesday or something.
yeah, happy Wednesday, everyone, and we'll see you guys tomorrow night on the Stakes at 7:30. Michelle will bring her best Sydney Sweeney impression tomorrow as well. If you'd like to hear more, 7:30. The Stakes, our Seneca Project channels. We'll see you on Saturday for Coffee and Conversation. Julie will be back with us. Safe travels for her back from Washington State, and stay sane, everyone.
Yeah.